Hi Year 7, Mr. Tapley here to walk you through your next lesson of Year 7 Humanities. This lesson we are looking at ancient Greece. We are starting our introduction of our next ancient civilization, which is ancient Greece. And our success criteria is to summarize the main events, so what happened, the main accomplishments, so why was this an important part of world history, why was it significant, and the key individuals, so who are the people who made this happen in the history of ancient Greece. So we're not learning everything there is to know in one lesson. This is just a introduction, so a starting point for our next ancient civilization. So, the civilization of ancient Greece had a remarkable impact on world history and modern life. Ancient Greece was the birthplace, so it was the starting point. It was the first page in books about mathematics. You had famous mathematicians like Pythagoras. You had famous literature, so books and poetry from Homer, not the Simpsons guy, there was an ancient Greek guy. The father of history is often called Herodotus. So he was the first person to really make an effort at written, recorded history. Philosophy. You had famous philosophers such as Aristotle, Socrates, and Plato, who are still studied in high school and universities today. Engineering, Archimedes, democracy, so the birthplace of democracy was ancient Athens in Greece. So the government that we have today came from ancient Greece. So all those famous individuals from Greece, all the accomplishments they accomplished in those different subjects, topics, domains, are evidence of the impact ancient Greece has had on not just our lives, but throughout world history. Basically, ancient Greece was the first great ancient civilization, and a lot of ancient history after ancient Greece copies ancient Greece. The next great civilization, ancient Rome, copied many features of ancient Greece. So if you look at the Latin alphabet they use in Rome, that's very similar to what occurred in ancient Greece, and it's very similar to our language. Military, war, and tactics. Rome became a huge empire, one of the greatest empires in world history, using tactics, using war strategies and weapons that they copied out of ancient Greece. And if you look at the mythology or the religion of gods and goddesses in Rome, if you compare them side by side to the ones in Greece, very similar, almost identical. Basically, if we were studying any other ancient civilization, at some point during the slides, at some point during these lectures in the textbook, you would hear me say, just like ancient Greece, because ancient Greece was basically number one. They were the first to do everything, and everyone copied what they did because it was so influential, it was so impressive for the time. And then you have the influence of ancient Greece in modern life. Our government that we use today started in ancient Greece. The very first library was created in ancient Greece by a famous individual named Alexander the Great. Athletics. The Olympic Games started in Olympia, in Greece. Architecture, medicine, theater, courts, so criminal courts, the justice system, all of those things in modern life are influenced by ancient Greece. I'll get you to watch this quick little video here. It's 4 minutes long, and it's another intro summary of ancient Greece, who they were, when they were, why they were impressive. And we'll be using that video for the questions at the end of the slide. So I don't recommend, you have to watch it. It's a good summary of ancient Greece. Now, the legacy of ancient Greece is evident in their impact upon other civilizations. However, there are also a number of impressive primary sources we can view to learn about this ancient civilization and their influence on world history. So it would be enough to look at the evidence of ancient Greece in Rome, in Egypt, in basically any civilization around the world, would be evidence to say, okay, ancient Greece was super impressive. However, we've also got a lot of primary sources from ancient Greece that we can view today, that people still visit today, that can show you what was ancient Greece, and we can learn about that time in history by looking at these primary sources, things that were created during the time of study, during the time of these events. So in modern Greece, you can visit the ruins of buildings and monuments, such as the Parthenon, which is that building there, on top of that plateau next to the mountain. The Acropolis of Athens, Olympia, which was the site of the first Olympic Games, and the Temple of Poseidon. All of those monuments, all of those buildings can teach us about ancient Greece by looking at the architecture, by looking at writing on some of the walls or in vases that were found in the Parthenon. You can learn about their religion, their culture, their history. There are also written records of history. So you have poetry, literature, historical records, play scripts, and philosophical writing as examples and evidence of ancient Greek culture. We learned about culture in civics and citizenship in term 1, how it's important to the people, important to your heritage. So learning about an ancient Greek book such as the Odyssey, written by Homer, one of those famous individuals on our first slide, not the Simpsons guy, reading about a book by that individual can teach you about what was important to them, what their everyday lives were like. By reading something as simple as a poem or a play script, you can learn about ancient Greek culture and, as such, ancient Greek history. The National Archaeological Museum in Athens, Greece, and museums and galleries around the world possess artwork and artifact collections to help us understand ancient Greece a little better. So we know why they're important. We know how we can learn about them. Let's learn about when this all occurred. So ancient Greece could be divided into, much like other ancient civilizations in world history, into different stages. They call them ages or eras. So different points on this timeline can kind of be divided up into, okay, this was the Dark Age, or this was the Classical Age. So you've got a timeline that I've taken from your textbook. I had to squish a little bit to make it fit, but this is chapter 5.2, 5.1, that's 5.1, sorry, whoops. Anyway, that's a timeline there that I've taken and put into here. I'm not going to go through all these events, but I will go through the main ages, the main stages of world history in ancient Greece. So ancient Greece really started with the Minoans. So it was a group of people, the Minoan civilization, in 3000 BCE, so 3,000 years before the year 0, when we started counting history upwards. And they were overthrown by the Mycenaeans in 1400 BCE. So the Minoans were very academic, very peaceful, lots of arts, lots of education. Mycenaeans, strong, very military powered. So they were able to overthrow the Minoans, and they were in charge for about 200 years, the Great Age of Mycenaeans. However, this is what's interesting about history to me, is that there are still mysteries in history. The Mycenaean civilization was mysteriously destroyed in 1150 BCE, entering the Dark Age. No one knows to this day what happened to an entire civilization of people. That's what I love about world history. There are theories that there was like a massive earthquake that kind of destroyed everything, or there was an invading army that came in, wrecked the place up, and then just left for some reason. There are theories that it was civil war and they just kind of all killed each other, but it's unknown. And there's a Dark Age that occurred from essentially 1150 all the way down to 800. So for about 300 years, there's no real record of this period in history. That's why they call it a Dark Age. There's other Dark Ages throughout world history in other civilizations, and they call it that because there's no light on what happened. There was no information recorded, no primary sources from the Dark Age. All language, all art disappeared for 300 years. Imagine that. But in 800 BCE, we started to get things back together. We developed the Greek alphabet. So having a common language is very important because now I can communicate to people. So I'm not just going to get into fights with them and start another Dark Age. I can trade, I can share information, I can learn. So the development of the Greek alphabet led to a new age of Greek history. So we're out of the Dark Age, now we're in Archaic Greece. That was about 750 BCE, the Greek Archaic period. That went on for a couple hundred years, and then this is really where most of these amazing accomplishments from ancient Greece occurred. They occurred in the golden age of Greek history, and that was called Classical Greece. From 490 BCE, we had a lot of discovery, invention, art, literature, drama, philosophy. This was the age as well where Greece really expanded their empire. So instead of just being in Greece, a bloke named Alexander the Great came along, and after they beat up the Persians, they went and they conquered a lot of the world. Alexander the Great got all the way down to Egypt. That library I mentioned was built, the Great Library of Alexandria, that was built in Egypt. So classical Greece was a very, they were on top. They were number one. They were top of the ladder, top of the class. They were destroying everyone. They were inventing all these amazing things. However, all good things come to an end. And Alexander the Great actually died at the age of 32. He died very young. And that was in 323 BCE. And that started the Hellenistic age, which was the final era of ancient Greece. So from that point, everything kind of started to go downhill, which resulted in, a couple hundred years later, the Romans actually conquering Greece. And then the Greeks put up a bit of resistance for like 180 years, but eventually that was the end of Greece. Ancient Greece was ended by this Hellenistic age. It was the final stage of world history for ancient Greece. So, with that background knowledge of ancient Greece, I've got 3 questions for you to answer in your digital notebook. Question 1. When was ancient Greece? So I'm looking for key dates, a timeline, not necessarily one that's as detailed as this. I don't want you to write the entire textbook out in your digital notebook. Really what I want is a start and an ending point. So 2 key dates there. Maybe mention some of the different historical ages, some of the key events. It doesn't have to be super detailed, just a couple of sentences explaining when was ancient Greece. If someone off the street asked you, didn't know anything about ancient Greece, and they said, when was ancient Greece? What would you say to them? You probably wouldn't say all of this, but you probably wouldn't also just say that. So 2 or 3 sentences. Question 2. Who were several notable individuals from ancient Greece? And what were their accomplishments? So this one might require you to do a little bit of research. So what I'd like you to do for this question, using the timeline or using the list of people that I've given you on this side, I would like you to do a bit of research on who was Pythagoras, what did he accomplish? Or who was Archimedes, what did he invent, what did he create? And again, 2 or 3 sentences, who was this famous individual from Greece, this important individual, and what were the important accomplishments that they achieved? What did they do for ancient Greece? Why are they so famous? And then finally, question 3. In your notebook, summarize the key information in this video about ancient Greece. So this is the same video that I had in the first slide, which is why I've told you to watch it. So the final question I want you, that video kind of summarizes ancient Greece. I want you to summarize the summary of ancient Greece. So basically, the key information in that video in 3 to 4 sentences. It'd be 3 to 4 dot points if that's easier for you. But really, I want you to practice not just note-taking of a textbook, but note-taking of videos. So 1, 2, 3 questions, putting those in your digital notebook. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. Otherwise, best of luck, guys. Hope you're well, and cheers.